Are you a first-time home buyer who's looking to make a move and crack the real estate market? Well, today we're going to dive into the 13 biggest mistakes that home buyers make and how to avoid them in 2019. We're going to break this up into a 3-part series. Why? Because if I ran this for 30 minutes, none of you guys would ever watch it, right? If you haven't already, hit that thumbs up and make sure to smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. I'm Brett Bolzenthal with eXp Realty and SoldByBrett.com. You've heard of buyer beware before, and that holds true to the real estate market. Without a systemized approach throughout the home buying process to help you steer clear of these 13 mistakes, it can prove costly for you in the long run. No matter which way you look at it, buying a home is a big-time, major investment and one of the biggest adventures you're going to make to purchase in your lifetime. But for many home buyers, this can be more expensive than it really needs to be, especially if you fall prey to these 13 mistakes. Mistake number 1, going about the home buying process and looking for homes without a pre-approval letter. Well, it may not seem like a very big deal, you're just getting started, right? You're not really sure if you're really serious about the process and if this is really the right road for you. However, this is a trap that many buyers fall into. Going shopping for a home without a pre-approval letter is really like hunting for a deer without a loaded gun. You really can't pull the trigger on your target without the ammunition that you need. The pre-approval letter doesn't obligate you to anything and costs you nothing to find out what you can afford and, more importantly, what price range you need to be in. Having the pre-approval letter gives you a much better edge at the negotiation table. First of all, if you're a seller, you have to consider buyer A, the one that does not have a pre-approval letter and may at some point qualify for a pre-approval letter, or buyer B, the one that already has it, that's almost like a cash buyer because the lender has reviewed all their information and has determined that this person does qualify to purchase your home. Another reason to have a pre-approval letter is because you know particularly what price range you need to focus on. A lot of times we think we can afford a price range greater than that of what we really can. On the flip side, I've already seen it before time and time again where the buyers qualified for a much bigger home than they thought. Mistake number 2. Choosing the wrong mortgage. Many buyers will start by looking online at different mortgage calculators and other online mortgage websites, but this is not always a great place to start because it doesn't really give you the full understanding of what you truly can qualify for a home loan. For an example, just because the lender can provide you with that particular home loan doesn't mean the bank will provide you with that particular home loan. So using the online research out there in the mortgage calculators doesn't always give you the full understanding of what you really are going to be able to get for a home loan. So it's really important to meet with a mortgage professional that can break that all down for you and truly show you what is within your best interest. Mistake number 3 is not knowing your budget. This is a very big deal because if you don't really know what that pre-approval is going to amount to in terms of a monthly payment, you may find that the house you're targeting is not really affordable. For example, just because you're pre-approved for a $200,000 home loan or a $300,000 home loan does not necessarily mean that the payment that's going to cost you per month by the time you factor in the homeowner's insurance and those real estate taxes is still going to be affordable from a monthly budget standpoint. It's also important to make sure that with that budget you don't go over your budget from a monthly basis because you will end up house poor. And you might get into the house, but you ain't going to be getting out of the house to do much of anything else. Lenders set a limit for a reason. Going beyond this limit is likely going to derail your future finances. Not something you want to really play around with. Again, it's one thing to be in the house, it's another thing when you can't get out of the house for anything else. Or worse, you don't have the ability to come up with the money that you need when something happens on that rainy day. Mistake number 4, not knowing the role of the realtors and working with the listing agent. This is an important topic here. In fact, I've done a video on there as far as who is on your team and knowing why this is significantly important to you, especially as a first-time home buyer, knowing who's got your back and who doesn't. make sure to check out that video here now for more information on understanding the greater roles. Simply put, working with a listing agent, their job is to represent their client, and per their listing contract, that client just so happens to be the seller. Mistake number 5, lack of preparation for purchasing the home. This is a big one. First of all, you're going in blindly. You don't know exactly what you're looking for. You've got some ideas. You might have some big-time dreams, but there's a difference between living in a fairy tale and reality. We need to make sure that you've got yourself dialed in on exactly what is and isn't important to you and mapping out the entire process. Now, first of all, this is going to start out with dealing with your needs. There are certain things you absolutely need in a home, and then on the other hand, there's the other things you might want in a home. For example, you need a 3-bedroom, or you need a 2-bedroom, and you need a 2-bath, and maybe you need a 2-car garage. Now, maybe you want it to be on an acre of land, or maybe you want it to be on waterfront, or maybe you want it to be up in the mountains, or wherever that case may be. You need to make sure you're doing the proper research to see whether or not you would qualify for those types of homes and those types of locations. When we're looking at being realistic and unrealistic, it starts with having a list of goals. I recommend coming up with at least 10 things that you want in a home. That list should really include those items that you need to have and can't get away from, such as, again, those bedrooms, the baths, the garage, or is the location something that you must have? Is there a certain distance to work that you have to be? Remember that when you're buying a home, you're also buying that location. So is it across the street from a factory that you don't want to be? Is it too far from work? Is the crime levels something that's important to you? Or the school district something that's important to you? These are all things that should be really considered, and not just having the goals in your mind, but making sure you have them written down. Now keep in mind, if you got them written down in pen, you might be scratching out a few things along the ways, especially if they're on your want list versus your need list. Well, that concludes part 1 of our 3-part series here, and we're getting ready to start part 2 now. If you're looking to make a move in the Green Bay or Fox Cities area, you're looking to sell or buy, I'm your guy. Once again, Brett Bolzenthal with eXp Realty and SoldByBrett.com.